My dear, I want you to take a breath right now. Just one slow, gentle breath. And as you breathe in, I want you to know something. Your being here, in this moment, reading these words, is not an accident. There are no accidents. Something inside of you, something wise and knowing, something that lives deeper than your worries and quieter than your fears, led you to this place. And that something has been trying to reach you for a long time. I wonder if you've ever had the feeling that your life should be different by now. That somehow, despite everything you've tried, despite all the hoping and the wishing and the pushing forward, there is still this quiet ache underneath it all. A feeling that something is missing. A sense that the life you truly dream of is just slightly out of reach. Like a door you can see clearly, but cannot quite find the key to open. Sweet one, I want to ask you something, and I want you to really feel into it before you answer. What if the door was never locked? What if you have been standing in front of an open door all along, and it has simply been the weight of your own beliefs that made it feel impossible to walk through? I know that might sound almost too simple, and I understand if part of you wants to push back on that, because you have been through real things, hard things, things that left marks, and I am not here to dismiss any of that. I am here to sit with you, right where you are, and tell you with absolute tenderness and certainty, the garden of your life can still bloom. It is not too late. You are not too broken. And the seeds of something beautiful are already inside of you, waiting only for the right conditions to grow. Let me tell you something that most people are never told. Most of us were handed a garden already planted for us before we were old enough to choose what grew there. The adults in our lives, with their own wounds, their own fears, their own unexamined beliefs, they dropped seeds into the soil of our young minds without even realizing it. Seeds like, you are not good enough. Seeds like, life is hard, and then it gets harder. Seeds like, love always comes with pain. Seeds like, wanting too much is dangerous. And those seeds, my love, took root. They grew quietly in the background of every decision you made, every relationship you entered, every dream you dared to reach for, and then quietly let go. This is not a story of blame, not for them and not for you. It is simply an understanding, and understanding is where everything changes. Because here is the truth that I want to plant in your heart today. You are not your past. You are not the beliefs that were handed to you before you were old enough to question them. You are not the voice in your head that whispers this will never work, or who are you to want more. That voice is not you. It is an old recording, playing on a loop from a garden that someone else planted long ago. And today, my dear, we are going to begin tending a new garden together. Imagine for a moment that you are standing in a field at dawn. The sky is just beginning to shift from deep velvet to the softest shades of rose and gold. The air is fresh and carries with it the smell of earth after rain, that ancient, hopeful smell that always feels like a new beginning. You are standing at the edge of a piece of land that belongs entirely to you. It stretches out before you in all directions, and in the center of it, there is a garden. Now this garden, my love, is your mind. And right now, as you look at it, you notice that some areas are overgrown. There are weeds that have been there so long, they almost look like they belong. There are old plants that have gone dry, that have stopped producing anything beautiful or nourishing, that are taking up space that something magnificent could be growing in. And perhaps there are corners of this garden where nothing grows at all. Places where the soil has been packed down hard by years of fear or disappointment, or simply not believing that anything good could take root there. But look closer, sweet one. Look at the soil itself. It is dark and rich. It is full of possibility. This soil, the deeper intelligence that lives within you, has never stopped being fertile. It has never given up. It has been waiting, quietly and patiently, for you to come back to it with intention, with love, with seeds worth planting. And what are these seeds? They are your thoughts. They are your beliefs. They are the quiet, persistent stories you tell yourself about who you are and what you deserve and what is possible for you in this lifetime. Every thought you think is a seed dropped into the ground of your experience. Every belief you hold is either nourishing the life you want to grow or feeding the weeds that crowd it out. This is not a punishment. It is simply the way the garden works. And once you understand it, truly understand it, not just in your head, but in the warm center of your chest, then you hold in your hands the power to transform absolutely everything. Now I know what some of you are feeling right now. I can almost hear the whisper of the old beliefs pushing back. I've tried positive thinking before and it didn't work. Or, that sounds beautiful, but my life is genuinely difficult. And my love, I hear you. I truly do. Because here is something important that I want to say to you clearly. What we are talking about is not pretending. It is not painting a smile over your pain and calling it healing. It is not repeating pretty words while the deeper part of you rolls its eyes in disbelief. True transformation begins in the soil beneath the surface. It begins not with what you say, but with what you believe at the deepest level of your being. And the reason so many people try affirmations or positive thinking and feel nothing shift is because they are planting seeds in soil that has not yet been prepared. They are whispering, "I am worthy," while a voice underneath is screaming, "No, you're not." And the deeper voice will always win, my dear, until you tend to it. So let us go a little deeper together now. Let us walk into the garden of your inner world with gentleness and with courage. Because what I am about to share with you is not taught in schools. It is not something most people ever discover. And it is the single most transformative understanding you will ever hold. Your subconscious mind does not know the difference between what is real and what is vividly imagined. Your deeper self, that great, quiet intelligence that runs your heartbeat without being asked, that heals your wounds without needing your instruction. It believes what it is consistently shown, and it has been shown over and over and over again. The images and stories and feelings that were handed to you in childhood, the ones that said this is who you are, the ones that decided, before you had any say, what kind of life was available to you. But here is the miracle, my love. And I call it a miracle because that is exactly what it is. That same subconscious mind, that same deep intelligence, will just as readily accept a new story, a new image, a new feeling, if you are willing to plant it consistently, with intention, with emotion, with the willingness to believe even just a little. The garden will respond. The soil will shift. Something new will begin to grow. Think about a time in your life, perhaps a small moment, when you felt genuinely at peace, when things seemed to be moving in your favor, when the right person appeared at the right time, or an opportunity opened just when you needed it, or you woke up one morning and felt, unexpectedly, that everything was going to be all right. Do you remember how that felt in your body? That ease, that warmth, that quiet confidence. That was not luck, my dear. That was the garden in bloom. That was your inner world in a state of openness and receptivity, and life was simply responding to what it found there, because life always responds to what it finds in you. Always. This is the truth that changes everything. This is the insight that, once it lands in your bones, you can never unknow. The outer world is a reflection of the inner world, not perfectly, not instantly, and not without the ebbs and flows that are simply part of being human. But fundamentally, consistently, inevitably, what you believe about yourself and about life becomes the experience you live. So let us choose new seeds, my love. Let us choose them now, right here together. Take another slow, gentle breath. And as you breathe out, I want you to release, just for this moment, the need to hold on to what has been. You do not have to carry it right now. You can set it down. You can lay it gently at the edge of this garden and simply say, I am ready for something new. Can you feel that? Even just the tiniest flicker of something softening? That is not nothing. That is everything. That is the soil of your being opening, just a crack to let the light in. Now imagine you are holding in the palm of your hand a single seed. This seed is golden. It glows with a warm, steady light, the kind of light that feels like the first rays of morning sun touching your skin after a long, cold night. And this seed contains within it a single truth, a truth so simple and so powerful that it has the ability to change the entire landscape of your life. The truth is this: I am worthy of love, of joy, of abundance, and of peace. Not because I have earned it, not because I am perfect, but because I exist, because I am here, and my being here is enough. Hold that seed, sweet one. Hold it with both hands, and feel, if you can, what it might be like to actually believe that. Not just to say it, but to feel it. To feel it so completely that there is no part of you arguing back. What would change in your life if you woke up every single morning already knowing in the very marrow of your bones that you are worthy, that you are loved, that the universe is not working against you, but is, in fact, endlessly conspiring in your favor? This is not a fantasy. This is a possibility that is available to you right now. This is where we are going together. Now let me speak to you about something that I think many of us carry without realizing its weight. It is the habit of expecting the worst, of bracing, of walking through life with our shoulders slightly raised, as if we are always waiting for the next blow to land. My dear, I understand how that habit formed. When life has surprised you with pain enough times, the nervous system begins to treat anticipation of suffering as a form of protection. If I expect the worst, at least I will not be blindsided. If I do not hope too much, then the disappointment will not shatter me. But here is what I want you to understand, and I want you to feel this gently, not as a criticism, but as an opening. When you brace for the worst, you send a signal into the garden. You plant the seeds of what you are afraid of, rather than what you are longing for. Your attention, your deep, emotional, feeling attention, is the water that feeds every seed in the soil of your mind. Whatever you consistently focus on, with feeling grows. And so, the garden of a life lived in constant bracing will, over time, produce exactly the experiences that justify the bracing. Not because life is cruel, but because the garden is faithful. It grows what it is fed. So what if, instead, you began, even just a little, even just in small, brave moments, to water different seeds? What if, when fear says this will go wrong, you paused and chose, consciously and deliberately, to say something wonderful might be about to happen? What if you began treating that as a possibility? Not a certainty yet. I understand. We are building trust slowly, the way a garden grows, not all at once, but season by season, tending by tending. I am safe. I trust life. I welcome new possibilities. Let these words move through you now like a warm river, not rushing, just flowing, finding every tight and closed off place in your body and bringing warmth there. Let us go back to the garden now, because I want to show you something. Walk with me through it. It is a little later in the morning now, and the sun has fully risen. You can feel it on your face, golden, steady, generous. And as you look at the garden, you notice something extraordinary has happened in the time since we last stood here together. In the places where you pulled out the old weeds with the gentle hands of your willingness, new things are beginning to emerge. They are small yet tender shoots, green and fragile and impossibly hopeful. They have been waiting underground all along. They were always there, those seeds of your truest self, your joy, your creativity, your capacity for love and connection and abundance. They never died. They only waited, and now they are rising. My love, this is what happens when you shift your inner world. The outer world does not always change dramatically overnight. but something begins to move. You begin to notice different things. You begin to respond differently. Opportunities that were always there begin to catch your eye. People who can help you appear in your path. A quiet confidence begins to grow. Slowly, yes, but it grows. And one day you will look up and realize that the garden looks completely different from how it looked before. And it will be because of you. Because of the faithful, loving tending you did, one thought at a time, one chosen belief at a time, one breath at a time. I want to speak now about the power of expectation, because it is one of the most underestimated forces in shaping a life. Expectation is not wishing. Expectation is the deep, cellular knowing that something is coming. It is the farmer who has planted the seeds and already knows, with the full confidence of experience, that the harvest is on its way. The farmer does not stand over the seeds weeping because they cannot see the crops yet. The farmer tends the soil. The farmer waters. The farmer trusts, and the harvest comes. You can develop that kind of trust. I promise you this is possible for you. Begin with small things. Begin by expecting, genuinely expecting, that this day will bring you something good. It does not have to be enormous. A smile from a stranger, a solution to something that has been troubling you, a moment of unexpected joy. Begin there. Begin by training your attention to look for the good that is already present in your life, because it is there, my dear. Even in the hardest seasons, there are seeds of beauty. There are moments of grace. There is always something to be grateful for, and gratitude, genuine, heartfelt gratitude, is perhaps the most powerful gardening tool that exists. Gratitude sends a message to the deepest part of you that says, good things exist in my world. And the garden, hearing that message consistently, begins to grow more of what you are grateful for. I am worthy of good things. I am open to receive. I trust the journey ahead. Say these words slowly. Say them as if they are true, because, sweet one, they are. Let me tell you about a quiet revolution that happens inside a person when they make the decision to change their inner world. It does not announce itself with trumpets. It begins, usually, as a very small act of courage. The courage to question a belief that has always seemed like fact. The courage to say, what if that old story is simply not true? The courage to choose, in a single moment, a thought that feels even slightly better than the one before it. And then the next day, you do it again. And the day after that. And slowly, the way water shapes stone not through force, but through faithful, consistent presence, your inner landscape begins to change. The old voices soften. The new ones grow stronger. The weeds that once seemed overwhelming begin to shrink because you have stopped feeding them with your attention and your belief. And the new garden, your true garden, the one that reflects who you really are and what you truly deserve, begins to flourish. There may be days when it does not feel like this. There will be moments of doubt. There will be mornings when the old thoughts come rushing back, and the beautiful new garden feels like it belongs to someone else's life. My love, on those days, be gentle with yourself. The kindness you extend to yourself is not a luxury. It is not softness. It is the most powerful act of healing available to you. Because a plant that is berated and criticized does not grow more beautifully. It withers. And you are a living thing. You require the same love and patience and consistent care that every growing thing requires. I release what no longer serves me. I choose peace. I am becoming stronger every day. These are not just words. These are instructions to the deepest part of your being. Repeat them as if you mean them, and eventually, I promise you this, you will. Let us take one more walk through the garden together before we close, my dear. The afternoon light is golden now, the way it gets in the sweetest hours, when the day is mature and generous. You are standing in the center of your garden, and you can see it as it is becoming. Not just as it is right now, but as it is in the process of becoming, and it is extraordinary. There are flowers here you have never seen before. Colors and shapes that you did not know could grow in the soil of a life like yours. There is food here, nourishing, abundant, more than enough. There is shade from trees that grew because you chose over and over the thought of trust instead of fear. There are open paths leading to open doors, and beyond each door is more light, more beauty, more life than you have yet imagined. And you are not alone here. This garden is tended by something larger than just your conscious mind. There is an intelligence at work in the universe that wants you to thrive, that moves toward you every time you move toward it, that opens doors the moment you believe, even just a little, that they can be open. I am not asking you to have perfect faith. I am only asking you to have a little more than you did yesterday. Just a crack of openness, just a sliver of willingness. That is enough to begin. That is always enough to begin. Because here is what I know to be true, my love, and I say this from the deepest place of certainty within me. Transformation is not reserved for certain people. It is not something that only happens to the lucky or the spiritually advanced or those who had an easier starting point. Transformation is the natural result of choosing again and again to tend the inner garden with love and intention and hope. It is available to you right now, exactly as you are. You do not need to fix yourself before you can receive good things. You do not need to earn the right to hope. You do not need to have it all figured out before life is allowed to become beautiful. You are already worthy. You are already enough, and the seeds of your most magnificent life are already inside you, trembling with readiness, waiting only for you to believe in them. I am safe. I am loved. I trust life. I welcome miracles. I am open to receive all that is good. The universe supports me. Good things are on their way to me right now. I am becoming more and more of who I truly am. My life is changing in beautiful ways. I am grateful. I am at peace. I am ready. Let these affirmations move through you not as words on a page, but but as water through the roots of something growing. Feel them landing in the soil of your being. Feel the soil receiving them. Feel, if you can, the quiet miracle of seeds stirring deep beneath the surface. Something is already changing in you, sweet one. I can feel it. You can feel it too. If you get very still and very quiet, that flutter of hope in your chest, that little warmth behind your eyes, that sense that maybe, just maybe, this is the moment when everything begins to shift. This is not the end of a message. This is the beginning of a new chapter in your story. The chapter where you become the intentional gardener of your own mind. The chapter where you choose, with loving consistency, the thoughts and beliefs that nourish the life you were born to live. The chapter where you stop waiting for life to change around you, and you begin to tend the garden within you. Because you know now that, as the inner world blooms, the outer world cannot help but bloom in response. My love, I am so glad you are here. I am so glad you took this time for yourself. You deserve this kind of care. You deserve this kind of attention. From others, yes, but most importantly, from yourself. Go gently now. Go with the knowledge that you are not alone, that you are held, that something ancient and wise and endlessly loving is walking this path with you. Go with the certainty that good things are already moving toward you, that doors are already opening, that the seeds you have planted today in this quiet, sacred space of your own heart are already reaching toward the light. The garden of your beautiful life is growing, my dear, and it is more magnificent than you have yet allowed yourself to imagine.